Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here today. My name is Edison Tokika. I'm the Chief Deputy for the Harris County Sheriff's Office. I'm pleased and honored to be standing here in front of you all with the Child Abuse Unit to announce the arrest of a suspect in a case that they've been pursuing since 2013. In February of 2013, a 16-year-old girl was kidnapped and dragged into a wooded area by a predator who brutally raped and beat her. This brave girl survived this savage attack and provided genetic evidence that has finally led to an arrest. On behalf of Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, who's on county business at this time, I'd like to thank and congratulate the Child Abuse Unit for their diligent work in this case, and thank them for their hard work that's actually taken a monster off the streets, and a brave victim can finally move forward knowing that this man is no longer a threat to her or anybody else in the community. We also want to thank our counterparts in Cumberland County, North Carolina Sheriff's Office, and Fort Bragg Military Police for their assistance and cooperation in this case. I'd like to introduce and bring forward Lieutenant Jerry Philpott to further investigation. Thank you, Chief.
My name is Lieutenant J.D. Philpott. I'm with the Harris County Sheriff's Office Child Abuse Unit. To begin with, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today on this day that the Sheriff's Office and the Child Abuse Unit, more specifically, has waited 5 long years for. I would like to especially thank the Sheriff's Office District Patrol 5 deputies who made the initial scene, in addition to the responding crime scene unit deputies who did a fantastic job on that evening. The initial responding personnel and their investigative efforts have brought us all here today. Finally, I would like to personally say thank you to many of the investigators from the Child Abuse Unit, especially former Deputy Armando Temez and current Deputy Chris Hudson, which is here to my right, who never allowed this case to be forgotten. Your tireless dedication and commitment to finding a resolution makes each of you the professionals that you are today. Now I would like to take a brief minute just to review the horrendous details of the incident on February the 5th, 2013. On that specific evening, a 16-year-old female was walking down Spring Cypress Road in northwest Harris County when she was pulled into a grassy area, viciously attacked, sexually assaulted, and left for dead after being struck in the head by what we believe to be a hatchet numerous times. The suspect in this case on that specific night was wearing a ninja-styled black mask and dark clothing. The complainant advised investigators that she believed her attacker only left her alone once he believed that she was dead. The complainant somehow managed to walk away to a nearby Cinemark movie theater, which is only about a quarter of a mile, maybe half a mile from that area of the actual attack, where she was seen by 2 individuals who were leaving the movie theater that night. Excuse me. The complainant suffered life-threatening injuries on the night of the attack, obviously, was transported by life flight to Herman Memorial Hospital, and to this day she still deals with lingering effects of the incident. After the incident, several investigators from the Harris County Sheriff's Office worked tirelessly over the next several months, but were unable to positively identify perpetrators. Over the next 5 years, the Child Abuse Unit has always had an investigator assigned to this case, and we were always seeking out new leads, new investigative leads. For more details about how we actually got here today with the DNA match, I want to turn it over to Sergeant Russell Gonzalez, who is also with the Child Abuse Unit. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Russ Gonzalez. I'm a sergeant in the Child Abuse Unit of the Harris County Sheriff's Office. As Lieutenant Philpott said, this case lingered on for years after the actual offense took place. Our unit diligently worked on it nonstop. We passed it from investigator to investigator to look for any kind of leads that we could possibly locate. Then fortunately, 5 years after the incident, on January 22nd, 2018, our unit received a notification from the Harris County Institute of Forensic Science that a DNA link had been established in this case. Through further investigation, Investigator Chris Hudson, he was able to determine that the link was a person that was in the United States Army stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Chris Hudson was able to communicate with their Criminal Investigations Division
They assisted us with coordinating an interview. They provided lots of assistance to us to where we were able to actually travel to North Carolina, and Deputy Hudson was able to interview him. And during the course of that interview, which he volunteered to provide to us, he provided some key information that proved beneficial to our case. And here we are 5 years later with this individual who's been charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child along with aggravated kidnapping. This is a key example of an investigator's ability to just keep chipping away at a case, never letting it die, which Deputy Hudson, he didn't let it die. He had this case for a year. He treated it as his own baby and took a lot of pride in it. And here we are today to put this monster behind bars where he belongs.
Buenas. Investigadores de la Unidad de Abuso de Menores de la Oficina del Alguacil del Condado Harris han presentado cargos contra un hombre sospechoso de secuestrar y violar una joven de 16 años de edad en el año 2013. Levi Austin Garrett, o Goss, de 24 años, fue vinculado exitosamente en el ataque que pasó en 2013 por evidencia de ADN. La oficina del abogado del distrito del condado de Harris ha aceptado los cargos por delitos de secuestro y asalto sexual agravado a una menor. Si se condena por los delitos en primer grado, Goss podría recibir cargos de sentencia máxima. Miembros de la Armada de los Estados Unidos, Goss estuvo descatado en Fort Bragg, de Carolina del Norte, donde está siendo investigado por autoridades militares en conexión con otro caso de agresión sexual. En enero, el Laboratorio de Investigación Criminal de la Armada de los Estados Unidos notificó al Instituto de Ciencias Forensicas del Condado de Harris que el ADN de Goss coincide con el de la evidencia obtenida de la víctima después del ataque que ocurrió en 2013. Goss está detenido sin derecho a fianza en la cárcel del condado de Cumberland, esperando ser trasladado al condado de Harris. Los expedientes muestran que Goss vivió cerca de donde ocurrió el crimen en 2013. En febrero del 2013, una joven de 16 años estaba caminando hacia la escuela secundaria de Cypress Woods cuando un hombre la atacó por detrás y la arrastró hasta una cubierta de pasto cerca del teatro de la esquina de 16.600 bloque de la calle Spring Cypress. El atacante la golpeó a la joven en la cabeza con un objeto, fracturándole el cráneo. Luego la usó sexualmente. Cubierta en sangre y sin ropa, ella pretendió estar muerta y esperó hasta que el sospechoso se fuera para ir y buscar ayuda. Gracias.
Sure. Take questions?
We can open it up for questions. Go ahead.
So just to clarify, this person was already being investigated with the, I guess with the government, I mean the military?
That's correct. This individual, Levi Goss, he was currently under investigation for an alleged sexual assault that took place while he was in the United States Army. During that time, he also got implicated in some type of drug possession case.
So his DNA was collected in relation to the sexual assault there at the base?
That's correct. Incident to that investigation was collected.
And when was that incident?
It was late last year of 2017.
And do they automatically run DNA? Like, how did they know to connect to Houston? Where was the link between the DNA? How does that all work?
If I can answer that,
Come to the mic.
excuse me. Anytime that somebody currently joins any branch of the U.S. military, there's a DNA sample that is taken from that individual at the time, and however, it's not actually uploaded into the CODIS databank until they are under investigation for specific types of crimes, obviously being a sexual assault offense. His DNA was then uploaded, and it was probably less than 30 days before the Department of Defense notified the authorities here, Harris County Institute of Forensic Science. And then within just a matter of days, we received a email from them. Yes.
Are there any other details on the alleged sexual assault? He was accused of in Fort Bragg, the victim's age, any kind of, I mean, was it a violent or
We don't have that information at this time, no, sir.
Was the suspect in the military at the time of the 2013 incident?
No, sir, he was not.
What are his local ties here?
We don't want to divulge too much information, but we do know for a fact that he had a very close family member who lived probably less than a quarter of a mile of the actual incident.
Did he go to school here?
No, sir, he did not go to school in the Cypher district.
But was the sample collected in 2013 immediately, like, sent to the, or put into the nationwide database or anything?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay.
Well, that was a sample of the complainant. So we obviously need, and then whatever foreign samples that they had, well, we obviously needed a match, and we didn't get that match until just the last couple of weeks.
Records show that his father owned a home right behind the wooded area where the assault took place. Is this guy, knowing that he lived that close to the scene, wasn't familiar with that area? Is that maybe why he took her to that spot?
Sir, obviously that would merely be a speculation at this point. But I mean, one can assume, because he did have a close family relative living there, that he was familiar with that area. It was a very vacant, wooded area at the time. Since then, there has been some various construction, so it has changed a little bit. But at the time of the incident, there was really nothing there.
The victim, has she been made aware of the arrest, and does she have any kind of reaction to the news that someone's finally behind bars?
Yes, she was notified. Deputy Chris Hudson actually went to her current residence now, which she is no longer living within the jurisdictional boundaries of Harris County. And she was notified. She was extremely excited. But as we stated earlier, this individual was brutally assaulted that night, hit in the head numerous times, and she's still suffering from forms of brain trauma. Yes, sir.
Are there any indications that I guess I'm just trying to figure out, this seems like it would have been a premeditated attack, and did he trail her for a while? Can you kind of...
We can only speculate, but from an investigative standpoint, we probably believe, or have very strong reason to believe, that this individual went down that specific path, knowing it was an isolated area, probably with the hopes of catching somebody walking by that evening.
Is he denying involvement in the attack, knowing that you have DNA on him?
I don't want to go into a whole lot of details about specifically what information we gained. He obviously did not come out and jump up and say, yes, you caught me, I did it. However, some of the things he said, leads us to believe that he probably understands that he's done.
Where is he right now? And since he's facing charges with another crime, will it take a while for him to come over to Harris County?
I was advised that, first of all, he is in Cumberland County? Cumberland County, which is in North Carolina. There was a extradition hearing that was held Monday at some point, and I haven't heard the results of that. Has anybody heard anything? We heavily anticipate by law that within 10 days that he should be back in Harris County.
The Army has no plans to detain.
Right.
Does this affect the DOD's investigation at all? Do you anticipate they'll drop those charges, or how does that work?
We are led to believe by the Criminal Investigative Division of the branch of the Army there that the specific charges that they were alleged against him aren't really that strong, and they just really wanted to discharge him with a honorable discharge.
I'm sorry, you said honorable discharge.
Dishonorable.
Okay.
Dishonorable discharge, excuse me.
So he won't be court-martialed on those charges?
Not that we're aware of, sir.
It's a surprising arrest wasn't made sooner. I mean, the likeness, it looks pretty similar to the rendering that was released.
Sir, the only way that I can answer that question is that there's a lot of individuals in Harris County. There's countless young white Caucasian males that look very similar to him. We don't believe at this point. Hopefully, we're able to gain more information soon. Just because we have charges filed at this point, this is still very much an active investigation. And there's a lot that we want to find out about. Specifically, was he just visiting somebody there, or was he actually residing there at that time? We didn't want to ask those questions prior to us going up there to attempt to gain a statement from him, fearing that if we ask somebody a question, they may still have a relationship with the suspect, and they may lead him on that, hey, there's law enforcement back in Harris County that's asking very strange questions about you.
How many years was he in the military? When did
He joined in 2016, around, I believe, May, sometime around that time.
One last question. I guess, how good does it feel? I mean, almost 5 years to the day, you got this guy.
It's an absolute unbelievable sense of relief, of happiness, obviously not just for us, because any time that we have a horrendous crime like this, investigators get very attached to that investigation. You want to find out who this individual is. But also such a sense of relief to know that we can maybe soon be able to provide some justice for the victim in this case.
Also, just to add to that, every deputy that I talked to that made that scene that night said this is one cases that really stuck with them. And looking at the pictures and going through the report, it's one of those cases where, I knew we had to find some type of resolve. It was that bad. So it feels amazing.
I have a question in Spanish. ¿Están compartiendo información sobre las características de esta persona, su ADN, con otros condados aledaños, tratando de identificar si hay más víctimas?
Siempre hacemos eso, sí, señor.
¿Y qué han encontrado hasta ahora?
Hasta ahora nada hemos encontrado, hasta este punto.
¿Nos puede decir cómo fue que se pudo ligar su ADN con el que ya tenía el ejército?
Bueno, porque tenemos una base donde ponemos todos el ADN y por vía de esa base pudimos encontrar la ADN de él.
¿Cuándo se espera que sea traído al condado Harris?
Lo que nos están diciendo es aproximadamente unos 10 días.
¿Él vivía cerca de la zona? ¿Pudo haber conocido a la víctima o qué hacía?
No sabemos si se la conocía, eso no podemos decir, pero sí podemos decir con toda sinceridad que vivía como un cuarto de milla de la locación donde pasó.
¿Quién lo identificó como testigo? Sabemos que hay una gasolinera Exxon en Spring Cypress y la 290. Ese testigo, el empleado, lo vio entrar al baño, salió.
Déjeme, was there a witness at the scene that saw him come out of the gas station? Yes. Just one witness?
There were 2 witnesses, but he was identified.
Exactamente, fueron 2 testigos en la gasolinera que lo pudieron identificar.
You want that in English?
Yes, please.
You want to repeat something?
Yeah. As Chief Kika just said in Spanish a few seconds ago, was that he was implicated in being seen at a Exxon gas station located near the intersection of 290 and Spring Cypress. Through the investigation, it was determined that he was the individual that was eyewitness going into an Exxon gas station the night of the assault took place.
Was that the source of the police sketch? Was the witness from the gas station?
No, sir.
That was the victim?
Victim.
That was the witness from the gas station.
Gas station.
Between the DNA
Gas
match,
station.
was there any DNA matched off of the shirt, the bloody shirt that was found in the gas station? And 2, do you anticipate the victim having to testify in this case?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Was there any kind of DNA match off of the shirts found in the gas station?
At this time, we're not really ready to talk about the details of the actual DNA evidence collected. There's still a lot more work going on into this case, so at this time, we'll just kind of not get too detailed as far as the actual DNA.
Does the suspect have any prior record?
Not that we're aware of. We haven't found any kind of criminal record on him.
Thank you, everyone.